laws in Sri Lanka. Sometimes you may wonder why that we are talking about children and about the children's the situation and the place that they have in the criminal justice system. When we have the team Sri Lanka as a hub in Asia way forward. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we all are aware that today's children are tomorrow. So then, therefore, if we want to go for a development, now Niriella talk about development, Niriella was talking about the juvenile delinquency and focus a new system. And in order to go for the hub in Asia, right? So then definitely we should have a present, should really focus on the today's children. Why? Because they are the tomorrow. So then if they have do not have the time-free environment, right, definitely due to that we are unable to achieve the main goal, that is the hub in Asia and the wonder of Sri Lanka. So that is the reason why I have selected this title. So then I am going to talk about under this topic. So then, ladies and gentlemen, you can see that if you read a newspaper, I think many of you have always seen that how many crimes are committed against children, right? So then it is one of the main problems in Sri Lanka, right? Whether we like it or not, whether it is bitter to hear, this is the situation in Sri Lanka. So even sometimes the own fathers, they kill their children because of their extramarital the affairs or something like that, for very silly things. And not only that, then apart from this the informal crime report statistics, if you take the police administration report, the prison statistics as well as NCPA reports. So then these are the uniform crime statistics published in Sri Lanka. So then you can see the statistics, how during the past 2 decades, how gradually the statistics have gone according to the crime against children as well as the child criminality too. So therefore, now under this background, actually I felt that I have a puzzle to see that though we have recently adopted and enacted new amendment to the Sri Lankan Penal Code, so why gradually these statistics, one hand the child victims statistics, on the other hand the child criminality statistics, why these statistics are going up. So therefore my research problem is based on 2 aspects. One is why the violent activities against children have drastically increased during the last decade through the Sri Lankan Penal Code though the Sri Lankan penal laws have been developing to recognize the protect children from violence or in other words crimes. Secondly, now I am talking about the entire criminal justice system, and one hand child as a victim, the other hand child as a offender. So therefore the other side I want to discuss with you, and I have written all these things in my paper, why the juvenile criminality has been increased, though Sri Lanka adopts a separate judicial process to try juvenile delinquency cases and implements distinct methods of punishment which focus on their rehabilitation and reintegration into the society. I think second part I did not have any opportunity to listen to Geetani, but many of you had the opportunity to listen to her. I think she might have talked more than a lot of things about under this the problem anyway. So therefore, in order to find solutions for the identified 2 research problems, the objective of this study is to critically examine the existing substantive and procedural penal laws relating to the Mothers are going abroad, right, for employment. So then due to this reason, if you take especially the coastal area, especially in the western province, I found that this is the main reasons that the children has to undergo this violence, especially the offense is most of the time incest. Due to this, therefore I feel that the mothers, now we are talking about the hub of Asia, the economic hub of Asia, so we have to focus on that also. So then I found that this is one of the main reasons among all other socio-economic, cultural and legal reasons. This is the main reason which I found that one of the reasons which really cause for the violation against children. Then if you take the consequences of violence against children, so then there are so many consequences. One I found when I went to the homestay camp, then when I had the discussion with the student, the children there, and the Ambepusavan, when I found the juvenile criminality, the children who really abused by the adults, finally they end up with the juvenile delinquency really. They the children who were abused, finally they end up as in the criminal justice system. The other hand, children as offenders in the criminal justice system. So first of all, let me just to give you the brief the introduction or the picture about the statistics in order to prove the increase of the violence against children. So then I got the police administration reports and the prison statistics. Actually, the last year until the second quarter, it was there. So then therefore I had to satisfy with this all my statistics at the end of 2011. Right. So then when I went through the statistics, I found that if there are 20 incidents of the offences, right, out of that 20, one is against children. Right, so then that means 1/20th is this is the field research I have done. So this is the situation, and the violence against children has been gradually increased during the last decade. The statistics indicate that girl children between age 10 to 14 years of age are more vulnerable for sexual the violence, especially the sexual offences, than the 14 to 17. Please remember these, the age limits, because there is a legal problem in the 1995 amendment with regard to the 14 between the children who are between 14 and 17. So then these are the statistics I just have written here up from 2005, but in my paper I started from 2000 to 2012, the second quarter. Right, so these are the grave offences, the statistics, the minor offences statistics. So then if you consider the varieties of offences committed against children, number one, at the crime index, the hierarchy of the crime index, at the top level, sexual offences are at the top level. Next to that, the non-fatal offences. Under the non-fatal offences, being subjected to kidnapping, being stranded and neglected, employing children in begging. It's when you go through not the Gold Road really, from Nigambu to Colombo, you can see that how children are, employed I will community, we play some strategies, right? It is for the sake of I think this is the biggest problem that we have. Then the third one, when it comes to the regional level, we are member of the SARC Convention and we had ratified the two SARC Conventions relating to the protection of children. So now, as I said, the focus or the objective of these international conventions which I mentioned earlier, so the protection of the children and best interest of children are the two main policies and the objectives of all these the conventions which I mentioned. So, being as a member country, the responsibility of a member country, whether it is Sri Lanka, India, whatever the country, the responsibility is to have either to implement the international law into their domestic level, level directly, or enacting enabling statutes. Since Sri Lanka is the dualist country, our position should be to have enabling statutes in order to translate all the international standards into the domestic level. So then, if we translate those international standards into the domestic level, so then we have to always keep it in mind the protection of the children from all sort of violence and to work towards their best interest, right? So then, therefore now we have the Penal Code Amendment number 22 of 1995 and the 1991 and Penal Code Amendment Act number 16 of 2006 and the Code of Criminal Procedure Act. Really I want to talk about the problems in there and the Evidence Ordinance. Now the Sri Lanka we follow the written law. So then the constitution is the supreme law. So then under chapter 3 talks about, yes, give me 1 minute to finish. Talk about the fundamental chapter. So there one of the right of the people is the equal protection. So then according to section 12 of article 12 of the constitution, no one could be discriminated due to their age or sex or color, political opinion, etc., etc. So though we have that particular provision here, when it comes to the Sri Lankan the amendment 1995 number 22, sir, if you take 363 section E as well as section 364 number 2, if you take that, I feel that according to the implementation of this particular the two provisions, right, so it is about the statutory rape. It is, yeah, there is a discrimination between the children in various communities because the age of the statutory rape, as we judges, when they impose the punishment on the perpetrators who really committed offences against children, sometimes they can very easily get suspended sentencing, which is really sad, and it really leads to that deteriorate the deterrence aspect and the sentencing policy. And with regard to the evidence ordinance, and I feel that there is a problem in collecting the medical evidence. So then sometimes when it comes to the procedure, it is very difficult to prove that. So then if we take the criminal procedure, if we take the entire criminal procedure, we can see that according to our adversarial process, victims of crimes are really marginalized, and sometimes they do not have any the say. Sometimes you may disagree with that. At the discussion forum we can discuss that. So then these are the substantive as well as the procedural demerits that I find in the criminal justice system with regard to child victim. So then we have the international standards relating to the juvenile offenders, and the main problem that I found we did not have a special focus on the community-based corrections, which is focused based on the restorative justice. As Peter mentioned, we focus only on the retributive justice, and the institutional correction is the main target, but we completely fail. So therefore, I can conclude my and yes, the aftercare service also zero in Sri Lanka with regard to juvenile offenders. So then I want to say that we have to institutionalize. So therefore I can say that yes, we have new laws in the sense, recent past many laws as amendments, but still our children are again and again are being victimized. On the other hand, the child criminality also gradually increase. So therefore, we have to consider the demerit which I mentioned, and we have to bring some solutions in order to overcome the problem. And then thereafter, I know that we are unable to have crime-free world, but even though we can minimize these type of the crime happening in Sri Lanka. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you.